Conservatives are convinced that liberals are obsessed with Anthony Fauci. It's their caricature of the left that, I mean, I didn't even choose to headline it today, but Fauci is going to be retiring. I mean, everybody I know is so upset about this. That's not. Conservatives want to characterize liberals as being devastated by Anthony Fauci's retirement, where I really could not care less. In fact, we've talked about this on the show before. I wish, frankly, he'd resigned in protest during the Trump administration, because I think that we need more of a tradition of that in this country. They do that in the UK, for example. We saw that in the Boris Johnson administration's fall. I wish the US kind of had more of a muscle memory for that kind of thing. But regardless, I don't have strong opinions about it. Tucker Carlson, though, seems to think that the entire Democratic voting base is weeping today. Oh, no sound.
Northeast this morning, when Tony Fauci announced his retirement. Ugly doesn't begin to...
No, it's okay.
Imagine the pandemonium at SoulCycle Studios across the Northeast this morning when Tony Fauci announced his retirement. Ugly doesn't begin to describe it. Picture the chaos, if you can, in the organic chaga aisle at Whole Foods in Brookline. Try to envision the panic and hysteria that must have broken out at espresso bars in Edgartown, in Aspen, and Santa Monica, and Bethesda, as thousands of masked ladies in Lululemon discovered all at once that the one religious leader they still revered, their own even tinier version of the Dalai Lama, had decided to retreat forever from public life. It was, ladies and gentlemen, the equivalent of a targeted nuclear device detonated over the most emotionally vulnerable elements of our most privileged population. You can picture the carnage, the wailing, the swooning, manicured hands clutched to breasts, then fumbling for Xanax and expensive handbags. Not since the Orange Man seized the White House in a Russian coup have more 46-year-old Cornell-educated lawyers with weak husbands wept shamelessly in public. There's not enough rosé in Napa to quell that pain. And it wasn't supposed to be this way. It never is supposed to be this way. Just a month ago, St. Tony suggested to his followers he'd be around another 2 years, at least, living at public expense as the highest paid federal employee till the end of Joe Biden's first, but hopefully not last term. And you know what that meant? It meant many more spreads in Teen Vogue, many more interviews on NPR, many more tips on masking. Is 3 enough? And of course, more vital guidance on how to celebrate the holidays. Which relatives should we ban from Thanksgiving this year? Dr. Fauci will know.
All right.
But not anymore. That's all gone. He's sitting masked at Brian Stelter's house, watching Chris Hayes tonight.
I think that's enough for now. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Like, you don't.
Like, what are we reporting on here? This is fan fiction. Like,
we know that he's spent a lot of time with Glenn Greenwald there because the descriptors, he had absolutely no restraint on those. Like,
this,
man,
it's the psychological analysis / projection, but this. All like I'm trying to I got the psychological profile of these people. It's all pointless and silly. Like, that's not analysis. That first of all, Tucker Carlson is a private school nerd who his dad was in the CIA. As a person who was born in what's called flyover country, you reference Brookline. People don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What's Brookline? I know because I've lived over here now. It's a place in Massachusetts suburbs.
Where the Kennedys are from. It's not like,
but nobody knows that reference.
No, not at all.
This is Tucker Carlson being basically adjacent to the entire people he's trying to cartoonize here. But like, bro, you used to wear a fucking bow tie, and your dad was in the Voice of America. Like, I don't know. Like, you are that, except you're a reactionary.
It's the same thing as when he had a moment. I don't remember. He might have been talking about Liz Cheney. He was like, "You wouldn't want to sit next. You wouldn't want to be in the chairlift line with her at Jackson Hole." I'm like, yeah, a lot of people can relate to that. They're going on $5,000 skiing trips as well.
I thought at first that he was making like some sort of reference to Brooklyn because he was really
right. That would make sense.
That would make a bit more sense, but at the same time, it is incredibly specific that he's talking about SoulCycle Studios, chaga aisle. I don't even know what chaga is.
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Oh, they drink espresso. Like, and then he references Massachusetts. Okay, so right now he's literally targeting wealthy suburban women in blue states. That's who he's talking about here. And I guess MSNBC viewers might be the people he's attempting to cartoonize or caricaturize. But I think it's so specific that, and so wealthy too, right? Like, these are the circles that he runs in. These are the kinds of liberals that he might interact with in the wealthiest suburbs in the country. And he's projecting and mocking them on a national news show where, like, it doesn't even really matter what he says here. The SEALs in his audience will just clap like this. And he's mocking what he calls elites as he sits there in one of his many studios, probably at one of his many homes, or in the New York studio. We don't really know there, but like
another dark reading of that from Pete in the chat says Brookline reference was dog whistler anti-Semitism, and it is true that Brookline is known in the Boston area for its large population of Russian and Israeli immigrants and numerous synagogues. So that also might explain why all of a sudden Brookline, because Tucker is ideologically white supremacist, he had them hired on his show. Anybody who denies that is laundering a white supremacist operation.
He loves to do that too. Like, it's plausible deniability as well. So I guess that's a predominantly Jewish suburb.
30% Jewish, yeah.
There are a lot of like coded. He's done this before. Coded, wealthy Jewish stereotypes, and the white supremacist faction in his audience will notice that as something that, oh, he's speaking to us, right? They're trained to understand his secret codes.
Right. They might understand what Brookline means, whereas like a normal person that's not a Nazi wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, my other hypothesis was just like Tucker Carlson's projecting his anger about the activities that his wife participates in onto the screen, because like Soul Cycle Studios, Lululemon, I mean, that just sounds like every wife of that kind of guy.
Absolutely.
No one cares about Anthony Fauci. Nobody. Like, especially when they're trying to make this an issue in a world where, look, I'm recovering from COVID here, but most of society has basically said, we're going to ignore this. And if you get it, you get it. And we're okay with a certain number of deaths. This is why I think Dr. Oz's candidacy is DOA, because the medical freedom angle is not something that galvanizes the larger population right now.
Yes.
I mean, and it's in the rearview mirror. And hey, if Tucker Carlson wants to keep banging this drum, I'm fine with it, because I don't think it resonates with people. But hey, he just needs to have it resonate with his core audience. And that's what they want to see. And again, this is part of his biggest project, is to conflate certain kinds of people who his audience might feel, well, this class of person talks down to me, with elites more broadly. When the elites that are oppressing people are the ones who fund his show.
I mean, he's literally the son of a CIA propagandist.
Yeah, I mean, and he's an heiress, or what's the male version of that?
An heir.
An heir. I'll chalk it up to the brain fog. That's going to be my excuse for all my.
You got about 2 months
moments.
of that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to wear that thin.